I don't have a fucking green screen, and I'm also really broke, so I can't afford another one. So you have to deal with like shit, kind of my room existing behind me sometimes, or me fading out of reality. I think it'll be funnier. So like, I have officially lost it. I'm at the end of my ropes here. I don't know what to tell you. Like those of you who have watched my videos or are in my Discord server, join my Discord server, link down below, then you know that I try to be a positive person. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kai, or Kyberian, and I just kind of, you know, play Destiny and have fun with friends, and I'm not good. So like and subscribe, I guess. But for those of you who know me or want to get to know me, you should know that I've been trying to be very positive about Destiny since I started making content for it around a year ago. And I can't do that anymore, really. The state of the game is the laziest piece of shit I've ever seen. Like, I've written better essays for college classes on the way to those college classes. Hey, it's Future Kai here. A lot has changed since I recorded this video and was editing it that I need to make updates like the showcase, the apology video, and the new Season of the Lich. I'm gonna get to that. It's just gonna take a couple of weeks for me to formulate my thoughts and get some other videos out. But trust me, it is coming. But I'll let past Kai get back into it because I still think this is a decent video. How have I gotten myself together faster this year than a multi-million-dollar company? Now, let me take you back a second to earlier this year, the Root of Nightmares raid race. I, at the time, was severely depressed. Like, I had trouble getting out of beds most days. I had, at that point, been able to complete maybe 1.5 of lightfall videos because, again, when you're depressed, editing doesn't seem as fun. And I don't have like a team that can like, oh, I can just play the game and they can help me. It's like, no, it's just me here. It is just me right now. But you see, I wanted to watch the raid race because it seemed fascinating and like I'd missed it. And this is my first full year of making content. And I really wanted to see it, even if I don't have the resources to like put a team together or was feeling it. But when I was just about to turn on the app for my TV to download Twitch took a while, and I fell asleep and took a nap because I was depressed. I woke up and it was already basically over. It's like, it was done. Like, it took like 2.5 hours, I think was the fastest time. I'll put it up whatever the fastest time is. Like, my depression nap took longer to complete than a goddamn raid race. And that's kind of carried over to my entire feelings for this year of content with Destiny. Every season, every video has kind of felt like a chore, aside from maybe 1 or 2 of the PvP videos and the Ghost of the Deep video, which was actually a ton of fun. The rest has been really annoying and hard to do, which you can tell in the fact I haven't uploaded in a fucking month. Partially because my PC broke, and partially because why the fuck would I bother if it's this annoying? I keep changing how I'm holding this microphone because I don't know how to do it. I need a bigger handle. Or just donate to me so I can go to a secondhand store and buy like a proper microphone and mixer and just have a microphone for these videos. Now, I want to go back and talk about Dotto's video about, you know, maybe taking a break and the drama around that. Because he's objectively right in this case. Like, he's just right. Like, I'm sorry, you content goblins that always need something new to do. The only way for Bungie to give you infinite amount of content to do is by using AI, which, no. I'm not part of a single union. I would strike if that happened. Like, I'd do whatever it took to avoid that because that's a bad idea. But do you know who is pissed enough to make a video and did and probably takes that advice more than most people? Moist fucking Critical. Like, that man has so much going on. He has an esports team, and all the content he makes, even if it's low budget and low production quality, is still a lot of stuff he's doing. If Daddy Jesus himself is willing to not only get on camera, but put on a robe to promote his merch, which the last time he did that was to make fun of Andrew Tate's #1 simp, then, you know, maybe something's gone fucking wrong. But let me take you back and set the stage for you so you can really understand where this is all coming from. And I will start with... So this needs to be taken with like a pinch of nuance, because while some of the stuff said here is damning, it can basically just be we're a cool, happy company. We have a game room. Come work for us. We make it easy. It's a business pitch to get more people to want to, you know, come work for Bungie. So they're gonna exaggerate a few points a bit. However, in every lie or over-exaggeration, there's just a pinch of truth. And I kind of get it. Bungie does not want to over-deliver. They don't want to work themselves to death with a live service model where they'll make a ton of content and they'll lose sleep and have crunch for a whole year just to do it again. It's like, I would quit that job so quickly, but I don't know. Maybe if you hired like an actual effective staff, this wouldn't be as big of an issue if you knew how to like manage, because there feels like a lot of wasted energy here. I am not a game dev. I don't pretend to be. I don't know how any of this works. I watch YouTube videos because I'm bored most of the time. But this is just a suggestion from an outsider with no experience what he thinks would be a good idea. Split your focus into 3 main parts and 3 main teams. The first would be an expansion or an end game development team. People who spend an entire year focusing on making a good expansion, a good story there, and then maybe working on raids and dungeons as really the end game content, so that you're providing a product or some work for the entire year and not just in February. The second would be a seasonal team to make sure each season has, you know, enough content. They make some really fun missions, maybe like exotic missions, like, you know, Seraph Shield was, or some other stuff we'll get into. But basically make the main activity for the season really fun. Give us like some good stories for, I don't know, it doesn't have to be 5 weeks, but it doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be 5 weeks, but it shouldn't be 15. And the third should be focused on ritual activities. That's Dares of Eternity, Crucible, those fucking strikes, Gambit, which you forgot existed, and just, you know, focusing on being quality control, making sure all the other teams know what they're doing, but focusing on like the core stuff so that people know what's going on and what games are balanced and the exotics are balanced. And like, there's a lot that I can't account for. This is just a basic suggestion. Cause like, trust me, these activities, aside from maybe Crucible, are about as loved as I was in my childhood, which is none. This isn't damning. As I stated earlier, crunch culture sucks. Like, look at anyone from CD Projekt Red after Cyberpunk. They looked dead inside, and not because they made a bad game that I personally enjoy a lot. What am I doing with my life right now, man? However, this isn't an excuse to not be ambitious with your game. As Moist Critical put in his video, Destiny has the most potential out of pretty much any game ever made, which is fucking correct. Bungie has made games that have defied and like defined genres. Like, Marathon was like one of the first like games. I don't really know the history of it, but I know it was important because as someone who didn't care, I always heard about Marathon. And then Halo is fucking Halo. Back in through Halo 1 through Reach, like those defined the FPS shooter genre for the time. And sci-fi games in general, of what you could tell. It is one of the most beloved franchises of all time in gaming history. Like, I feel like every studio has been giving Destiny, like IGN, GameSpot, whatever the fuck, have been giving Destiny the most mid reviews of all time because it very much deserves it right now. I'm sorry. And while I don't think this is like the most damning piece of evidence ever, the next one definitely has more validity to show that this is kind of shit right now. All right. And that is, I hate Overwatch 2. weird tangent, but stick with me here. Like, I think a lot of people hate it too, because it just released on Steam and has over 100,000 negative reviews. And one of those reasons is that they basically just made a sequel to do nothing and then put in microtransactions, which have just been slowly getting worse. Look at Diablo Immortal and to some extent Diablo 4. No, haven't played it. But those games are more predatory than a Minecraft YouTuber that hit 1 million subscribers. And want to know what those have in common? They both come from the depths of hell, or as it's colloquially known, Activision Blizzard. I'm ditching the hat for now. I might put it back later, but I don't know. My hair never works for me, but like, let's go with this. Which, when Bungie left, we thought it was gonna get better because they left this godforsaken hellhole known as Activision Blizzard. And I'd say for a time, things really did improve. Shadowkeep, you know, obviously suffered because like departing a studio mid-development probably hurts it, and I fucking hate Shadowkeep. Beyond Light was pretty good, and then Witch Queen was a fucking masterpiece. Holy shit, it was probably the best expansion we've ever gotten in this game. And then the man that ghosted me on letting me apply to be one of his editors, probably rightfully, but also rude, released a 35-minute video on why Bungie's been fucking up so bad. In this video, Astacross, yes, I know how to say your name correctly, give me a job. He basically accused them of being worse at development and microtransactions than Blizzard is without the Cosby Room, which is still bad. And I'm sorry, if I was like a juror in any case and heard, we took them to the Cosby Room, you'd be guilty. There's nothing you could do to change my mind that nothing foul went down. Back on topic, this video slaps, like harder than me in bed with your mom. Oh, I love this. This is my favorite video I've ever made. This video like absolutely caught fire. Every person in this community had like some take on it. I even wrote one and then scrapped it because who the fuck cares about my opinion? Except for here where I make something funny. Like this is so like it reached a massive audience, including Asmongold, the king of reacting. But this really was something that made me like say, yeah, they kind of aren't doing shit. It's like I really just like stopped enjoying playing the game at a certain point. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should try some other games for the time being, and let's see when I actually feel like finishing a video. I can't really describe how exhaustive it's felt making a video for the last couple of months, so I'm not going to. We're just gonna continue on. This basically starts with your standard intro for like a document. I don't really give a fuck. You can read it if you want. It's there. You can pause the video, I don't give a fuck. And now this line is where it took a left turn and we headed straight into Ohio or some shit. Cause like, what the fuck is this? So it like basically is like, we've looked at the numbers and they don't look good. I'd wear my glasses right now, but there's so many lights in here and I don't have any kind of lens to help me with it that I'll just be reflecting and you can't see shit. It's like 2 sentences to like say, it's like, we know the game isn't great. Anyways, I did write this script while reading each line and then writing something about it. I've still read the whole document by the time I'm recording this video. And like, I still agree with most of the shit I said. It feels so phoned in and I hate it. PvP, it's dynamite. PvP, I'll never win that fight. This actually is probably the most worked on part of this whole game because PvP gets the most attention as it's the favorite child. But still, people complain about how bad it is. I complain about how bad it is and I don't care that much. Like I'm not a PvP player, but I also really enjoy going outside and taking my dogs for walks where we touch grass. So that probably explains it. But like there are still really negative things. Like, oh wow, after a year and a half, we get a single map. Hey, do you remember Halo 3 when they had like a whole map pack come out like less than a year after the game? It's like, wow, incredible. Same fucking studio. Now you see, I think the Vex network is an incredibly cool environment. I love this shit. I've had it as my computer background before. It looks sick, and having a map there for PvP looks cool, even if I don't know how to explain it in lore. But also, come on. One map, that's all you've got for us? And some game modes? Like, I swear, Overwatch 2 and Halo Infinite, both games I will complain about doing jack shit, did more. So yeah, we're getting new game modes. What? The dog's here. So yeah, we're getting new game modes, which, like, thank fuck I don't want to play Rift for like the millionth time. The first is Checkmate, because instead of working on their game, they were programming the anal beads, which is a situation that I remember none of other than it was in chess. I just always, it's burned into my brain at this point. I can't ever forget about that chess scandal. And I don't give a shit about chess. This mode, from like reading it and not like critically analyzing probably as much as like professionals would, it just sounds like primary weapon good. So I guess that helps me, who has to get 2.7k with kills of Crimson still. Holy shit, I hate my life. Next up is, Relic, which sounds like it'd be some cool hive shit, and is still actually probably the most interesting mode on here, which this mode involves reusing like the seasonal weapons or like event weapons from a few years ago, like the Scythe from Season of the Haunted or the Synaptic Spear from Season of the Risen. And this sounds interesting. Almost like it was done in Halo. Like, this sounds like Halo, where they used to put, like a rocket launcher in the middle of the map, and whoever's team can get to it first gets the added advantage of a rocket launcher. However, that's kind of where the balance goes away. I'm gonna ruin this whole concept by letting you know Halo and Destiny work like differently foundationally. Halo, and I mean especially early Halo, really didn't have like, everyone was like pretty much exactly the same character. Like, there was no added advantage of like movement or anything else. It's like they didn't even experiment with like mobility until their last entry in the series for Bungie, which was Halo Reach, and they gave consequences to each one to try to keep it balanced. Like, it was perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Like, every character moved the same speed and could take the same amount of lead in the ass. The nuance of like the shields and like you to knock that down, and then you could take down their health and all, whatever. Fuck it. It was like how the maps looked the same on both sides. Like, you could cut it down and be symmetrical to the point where Death the Kid would still be happy with it. Like, do you know how well this was done? People today will still for like hours argue, was Halo better before or after sprinting? A good question. And now I'm going to stop talking about the game that was banned in my house as a kid, because killing aliens was bad. But Call of Duty and Skyrim were fine, because, being consistent was about as important as encouraging my growth and enjoyment in hobbies and interests. I'm joking. This game mode could be good and fun and jazzy, but when you introduced builds which are wildly consistent, inconsistent, and diverse in any structure, things could get weird. Like, what happens when I used fucking Witch Hunter on an Arc Titan and he just decides to muda me? Like, it's kind of a useless move. Like Hermit Purple. I'm kidding. Hermit Purple was a really cool idea as a utility, but really kind of pointless when your grandson and the dude in your grandfather's body both get a stop time. But I'm not gonna pretend like I have enough intelligence in like game design and balance. But I give it a 50-50 chance that like it dies instantly and is hated, or is completely beloved until they make one change that somehow fucks it all up. I don't have any skin in this race, whatever. Bitch. Bungie also does us the massive favor of discussing matchmaking in its current state. its current state being bad. Like right now, it is about as useful as the Minnesota Police Department. If you've seen my PvP videos where I'm just there to play with my really good friends, you know we get really pissed off, mainly because we go from winning with ease, we're fucking gods, to getting smited by Zeus and not able to get a single kill, which, while being wildly inconsistent in PvP and games in general, is on brand and hilarious for me, it shouldn't be for my friends. My teammates in this video, Colin Omar, they're pretty good at every game they really put their minds to. Like, they can lose sometimes, but for the most part, they know what the fuck they're doing. The only time, like, we really struggle is when we're playing, like, Counter-Strike and there's an objectively better team, because I'm silver too, and they're like whatever the fuck's above silver. So, Bungo Pop, would you like to explain why a team sat in the second lowest tier in bronze is somehow struggling, because all of a sudden we get people with Immortals Adepts and Flawless Trials banners and whatever the fuck else? Why are we fighting them? Why are they in bronze? And I know it's not because we're the only team in bronze of the world. This is a worldwide game. And it's like, even if I'm staying up till 3 a.m. because I have insomnia and is the only time I can play, I know I am not the only person in the world that's playing in this specific category. Like, I'm not upset about losing. Losing happens. And like, I understand this, it's a climb to the top. I just think the climb should be hard, not fucking impossible. It's like doing rock climbing with a group of friends that slowly drift away from you and start, being kind of mean to you because you can't do it daily as they would, because you have other commitments like a sport, like say swimming competitively. And then they just slowly become more and more insufferable as they decide, we're going to have a real group chat. This is for all of us real people that go rock climbing every day. And as a joke, you take up a Viva la Revolution group chat with all the people they didn't want because we have fucking lives. And now you have some of my high school lore because I'm fucking ADHD as shit. Anyways, matchmaking sucks. Bungie says more is coming, but I kind of don't believe them. Next up is the Vanguard playlist, or as I like to call it, recycled content. Because every 3-person seasonal activity will just be taken, put in there, and called a strike. So they only have to make like 1 real strike a year. Like, we have more strikes going on in the US than they make per year. Nothing in here is like important. It's just like, we'll do things. I'm skipping it. All right. Next is Bungie's Forgotten Child. Like me, whenever I ask for help, whenever Brain said be sad. Here, Bungie basically says, we kind of just forgot Gambit existed. We're not gonna fix it, by the way. We're just gonna let it. You guys don't like it, so why would we change anything? Damn, that's fucking crazy. It's almost like you introduce a game mode, you then remove some of the harder features from that game mode. People don't like it. You don't change anything. People hate it and want it removed. You say people don't like it, we don't know why, so we're not gonna fix it. Everyone can feel how little passion you have for this game mode, when it could be one of the most interesting and best game modes, because you have PvE content, which exists in every other game in some way or shape or form, or PvP content that exists in every game. At this point, do you know what you should do? You should just remove Gambit and replace it with Firefight. But like, please, I'm begging you, Firefight is the best game mode in Halo, and it's only in 2 games, which sucks. And I already know you don't fucking care. Just do something people would enjoy. Next on their list is armor sets, but I'm hungry and don't give a shit. I'm gonna get Taco Bell and then move on to something important. I went and ate Taco Bell. Now let's get back into an important topic, mainly game security. which I didn't know was an issue. We're fucked. Everyone's gonna die. So I have now actually read it, but instead of going back and editing my script, I'm not going to, because it's funnier, it's for comedy, and not because I'm a lazy piece of shit. This is something I'm kind of with Bungie on, sorta. Cheaters are still rampant in Destiny 2, but like creating a system that detects cheaters is kind of a stopgap solution and doesn't really go anything. It's how medicine usually does that, because your body is gonna kill the virus. You just need to survive the symptoms. And cheaters can kill the game completely. And they nearly have with Destiny several times, and they think they're justified in it because, oh, we're all the only ones who play PvP. No one else would. But an infinitely funnier and probably exponentially more effective solution is to sue them in court and win, so they can't make cheats anymore, and then that service no longer works. And also, calling, I'm also a big fan of Sweatsicle's Dave saga, which was hilarious. Was Dave his name? So he not only ran a cheat company, but decided to call someone who, in my opinion, is an intelligent YouTuber, going from the J Station down here to, Red and Link, some ordinary gamers. It's like that. Sweatsicle's somewhere here. Yeah, honestly, calling you a pussy is very considerate. Also, just as a statement of fact, giving your account to someone else to boost your numbers in a video game is fucking stupid. Earn it yourself. I suck at this game. I am goddamn terrible. I have people message me I'm fucking terrible. Do you know what I do? I play to get better. I don't just say, hey, can you just make me look better, instead of actually me getting better? Now, let me rip Bungie a new one. Well, on paper, using AI to, detect cheaters and exploits and all that is probably one of the best uses of AI and machine learning that I've heard. Instead of, what most people do, which is to replace the one thing that humans have been good at, creative endeavors. However, like the hubris of, every Hollywood executive, they're realizing their folly is that they're fucking up. This includes waves of false bans that have just driven players away from Destiny entirely forever. Good fucking job, dumbass. Using BattlEye is the bare minimum. It sounds good, but if you're a dedicated piece of shit, you can get around that if you wanted to. However, Bungie did take accountability for the stuff with security this year, and I can respect that, as it's probably one of the biggest issues of the game. And if they're willing to address it, it's better than doing fucking nothing. Sadly, that isn't the only thing that they fucked up this year. The game's connectivity has been kind of shit this year, which is actually pretty important, seeing as it's an online-only game. Now, I myself personally haven't noticed a ton of server issues, but it's also something my ADHD rattled brain might not understand or take note of. And as I've said before, I'm allergic to sleep, and I do feel more at peace at 3 a.m. not hunting ghosts or trying to summon whatever fucking creature they want to, but maybe possibly asking VTubers to step on me. This was for comedic purposes. Make up your own mind. Weird tangents aside, I actually know how to get back on topic, unlike some YouTubers that only know how to tell a story and look directly into a camera while doing it. Stability has been a main issue because apparently having dedicated servers are out of the realm of possibility for us. And I'm sorry, if Genshin Impact can have something we can't, I'm going to commit a war crime. And this section basically boils down to, we can help you. Here's some tips on how to fix it, and we're going to try some stuff on our end, but it's still up to you to fix your shit. They can just give you the tools, which, while that's great advice from my fucking therapist, it is not reassuring when a developer is trying to convince you we're going to fix our fucking game. When it comes to internet connections, I understand that's a two-way street, but if I don't live in bumfuck Australia and can connect to the Wi-Fi, why the fuck should I have a problem? Unless it's like high traffic, that I can understand completely and wholeheartedly. It's like how One Piece broke the internet with Gear 5, and people were like, but it only broke it for like an hour on a ton of sites, when Ultra Instinct did it for a couple of days. When you don't realize that, you know, when your servers go down, that's a frustration for your customers. So what are you going to do? You're going to invest money into better servers. So the next time it goes down, it's going to be harder to do. But, you know, if they do it again, that just proves that there's even more traffic than before, because you just beat the higher bar, or they figure out how to re-up it quicker. All this to really say, fix your game so maybe people can, I don't know, play it and enjoy it, and that might get you more people willing to invest in the Eververse store. I'm tired. We're moving on to the next topic. I have not decided if I want to bitch right now or if I speedrun. We're going to find that out together. Just kidding. I have to write the video, then I have to perform it as I am now, then I have to edit it. So I'm going to know well before it's even uploaded. Listen here, you little bitch. Listen here. You're going to go down below this video, like and subscribe. Do not make me do anything, all right? Do not. Let me start with this point. The seasonal model kind of sucks. The seasonal model starts off really great, giving me like something to do. I can make a 10-minute video, you know, kind of just joking around, making a few jokes, and I get a 10-minute video off of it, and then I can come back for a part 2 eventually. Then maybe do some of the PvP stuff. If there's a new dungeon, I can do that. If there's a new raid, I can do that. But when it really comes down to the end, I feel so burnt out at the end of every season that it's hard for me to find video topics I really want to do. On a completely unrelated note, did you know I have a Discord server that I forced a British man to make for me? And by forced, I mean mine was just so shit because I started off streaming Persona 5 and, you know, was just trying to get 50 followers on there. And now I have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and people actually kind of want me to have a nice server. And that's linked below. Go tell Frosty that he did a good job, because he did. You can even read my ADHD thoughts in the Kill Yourself corner. Wait, just check my notes again. It's Kai's corner, like my nickname, Kai, which is possessive of a corner. Back on topic, join my Discord server, or don't. It's only the lives of you and your loved ones at stake. Now, you see, there are only like really 2 seasons that I have only made one part of a video on. The first was Season of the Seraph, because I made the video, then I had finals week and had to move states and wasn't really stable until, you know, the season was about to end, so I skipped everything and did it for myself while I was on a break. The second season is Season of the Deep, because I got so fucking bored and just irrationally angry with the game at times for no reason. I don't know if that's me or if that's the game just sucking that I'm like, I can't do this. It's not like the structure is terrible, it's terribly bad. It's just, I feel like I get so burnt out on it just trying to make content. And I don't even like get on when I'm not making content unless I need to grind for something specific. Anyways, this is kind of shown that like videos also die on Destiny pretty quickly. Like, I know I can't always expect people just to want to watch my me beat a dumbass on the internet where I work really hard on it. But like, it's also shown that like other stuff like my videos always plateau after a while, except for one. A Sea of Thieves videos I made with my friends where we just keep going. Anyways, I don't like the seasonal model as much. If you fixed it, it would be awesome. Aside from me, when playing Remnant 2, there are in fact more things coming. This mainly includes quality of life changes, and I would be critical, but right now I'm feeling kind of moist and I'd like to make fun of it. The first of these like major changes is going to be the ability to just favorite your shaders. This will help when you're having an identity crisis, because finding a specific shader is harder to see the floor when you're watching a hoarder show on the Learning Channel. I mean, it's cool, but I thought of this in Destiny 1. So where's my money for thinking of such a groundbreaking discovery that you never knew you could do? And trust me, bro, our game isn't gonna die. As well as just allowing you to buy stasis aspects. Finally. So instead of, doing some needlessly complicated and ultimately boring task to maybe get them, you can just buy them and actually be able to make a stasis build. Fucking insane. As well as, making it a lot easier to get an exotic cipher, which, as someone who works 1 hour short of full time at my part-time job, I don't need another one to get a single exotic every week. There are other ones of these, but seeing as I am getting very, very tired, as Tay-Tay would say, you're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Is that something that Taylor said in one of her songs she may or may not own at this moment? Moving on, this isn't going to change the game or fix the game or save the game. It's a fresh coat of paint on your junker car. But what is important would be the engine of that car. First off, we're getting a new set of strand aspects, and you can tell which class is the most important to the devs based on how many words are used to describe these. Give me a second. For Titans, it's Banner of War, which is 3 words, and it clearly shows that Titans are really fucking cool. Hunters are getting Whirling Maelstrom, which just sounds cool. No matter how you that just sounds awesome. And it's 2 words. And Weave Walk is so lazy, it is almost as if they didn't try. I can make it's 1 word, but can we have a word that isn't just weave? Everything is weave this, weave these nuts. We're also getting reworks of underused exotics, and there's actually just no complaint here. That's good shit. Give me more of that shit. They also make note that they're making changes to sandbox for regular weapons, but I give less a shit about that than I do mainstream journalists. And now let's talk about Bungie's plans for the future, and more importantly, mine. Let's start off with the same speech an abusive ex-boyfriend would have. No, trust me. It doesn't matter that I cheated on you 3, 4, 5 times. I'll be better this time. I promise. Don't throw away the last decade of our lives. When really, you deserve better. You're a great person. You're amazing. I enjoy talking to you. What the fuck am I talking? The rest of this just is probably the worst part of this entire article, because it really sounds like the devs are stroking their own dicks about how good they did with Lightfall and Season of Defiance. Well, Season of Defiance had a pretty decent mid-story, but had Marasov and reignited my desire to be stepped on by her. Lightfall wasn't that well received. And while I personally enjoyed Lightfall, I've met people who are objectively wrong and enjoy Shadowkeep. And I can point out to what I really enjoyed in Lightfall being Strand, the aesthetics of Neomuna being really cool, and he had a pretty decent cast of characters, even if they're underutilized. And even though their voices fucked up, I still really enjoyed Nimbus's character. But I will admit, the first half of the story, the better half, was carried by Rohan. And the reason for this is because it was pretending to be a story, and as soon as he left, really we didn't have anyone that knew what they were doing. Osiris was just kind of dicking about being sad and angry. Keitel was dealing with daddy issues. Nimbus, they just were firstly not really trying to ignore the death of a loved one, which I can relate to, but just he's inexperienced as, say, our character was in Destiny 1 or the New Light stuff. And I'd make some kind of joke about evaporation if I knew or gave enough of a shit about chemistry, but I haven't looked at the period table since I was in high school, and that is not going to change now. So yeah, the story kind of sucked. It followed Callus, but Callus is one of the only, I think the only raid boss to ever fight us and then live and then get away for a long time and then had a season dedicated to them and didn't die, only to have the worst boss fight ever when he finally makes his return. I can't tell you how many books of lore there probably are on just Callus, but he sucked. His boss fight was boring. It sucked. Like, facing him after 5 years was like overhyped, like No Man's Sky, but like I shouldn't have felt as disappointed as I was, but nothing's changing that now. He goes to Neomuna after the best opening cutscene. Like that was awesome as a cutscene. He goes to Neomuna and sets up his ship menacingly, and then kind of just does nothing for the rest of the story. He like does some stuff showing that he's basically Midas now, and then is just treated like a Power Rangers villain, or like, how do you fail me? How do the Power Rangers keep beating you? Oh my God. Well, you can see my first reaction to it. I have a video up on it. Please go watch it. Am I not pitiable enough yet? All of that just so people could find out that there is an activity that no one told us about a season later that explains the story of the fucking expansion. Oh my God. Moving back into the actual state of the game, it was divided into 4 parts. Part 1 was basically what we just talked about, because I don't double check shit. Part 2 is bringing challenge back to Destiny, which in theory is a good thing, as Destiny has always had 2 sides. There is the filthy fucking casual who really yeah. And then there's the I haven't gone outside in a decade person. So this is about, making that hardcore end game stuff harder for the I haven't gone outside players, which means I'm actually really happy I got my necrotic grips when I did, because I only spent like 5 fucking hours in one dungeon, or dungeon. What the fuck? One lost exotic lost sector for hours, because it only dropped on my 19th run. I fucking hate it here. And that leads to the third point, which is to enrich the player experience. They mainly talk about this in like context of exotic quests like Vox Obscura and Seraph Shield. And like Vox Obscura gives me anxiety because it had a countdown timer and I haven't recovered since Sonic 2. And Seraph Shield was just fucking amazing. I loved that mission. That was the best mission in Destiny. Then they talk about Avalon, which in my experience from doing it, video on the channel, was 1, hard to find, 2, easy as balls, 3, harder than me finding a woman to date me. See, I actually have a video on Avalon, but notice how I don't have it on Wicked Implement, because the barrier to even enter it is so goddamn high that like most players aren't going to go through the effort of fishing for like 8 hours straight. And even then, it's a moot point, because when we even got into it, we'd have like issues where it wouldn't connect us. So when we did things, it would soft lock, or we'd be stomped because it would just spawn enemies who were supposed to be somewhere else in our latency. Like we haven't gotten Wicked Implement. None of my friends or people in my server have. Like, let me just make this point. Soloing it should be hard, like really fucking hard, but it shouldn't be impossible to do. Which in this case, it seems really fucking impossible. As well, they're returning the DMT quest, which is really nice, except if you're already been a long time player of this game, you already have it because it's been nerfed to shit. Everyone had Dead Man's Tale, and now Dead Man's Tale is kind of replaceable. And the final point is connecting other guardians to each other. But if you notice, I've been so mad this entire video, I haven't said the word guardians until now because I forgot it existed. I also feel I should talk about the 2 big developments that have come up since I started writing this video. Destiny's news is so fast paced that me taking the time to like try to write a script so that I can be funny and actually put my thoughts together, because I'm fucking ADHD as hell, it means that I miss a lot of things. By the time this video goes up, there's probably going to be something that I've missed. Look, as many a woman can attest, I like to take my time, and that's what I'm doing. So, yeah, the first piece of news we got is what the reprised raid is going to be. It is going to be Crota's End, which is not only objectively the worst raid, but it's literally the like prequel raid to King's Fall, which we got last year. So now we're gonna have not only 2 raids in a row that follow specifically the Hive, but literally the same family. We're just gonna be able to wipe out the entire family now, instead of, you know, Wrath of the Machine. Give us another like Fallen raid. We've had 2 ever. Yeah, you had the choice between literally the worst or the best, and you chose the worst, which really great decision making there. I'm so happy. The second is going to be a serious topic. The topic of death in any circumstance is tragic, but for outsiders like ourselves to be looking at a celebrity death as people who didn't know him personally, we have to look at the roles of Lance Reddick more than who he was. And I can understand this. Jason David Frank was my childhood hero in years that probably weren't the greatest, and we lost him last year. He was known for playing Tommy Oliver in Power Rangers, and that's one of the most tragic things because he was a great actor. He just never got over being the Power Rangers guy. Like, I can understand people's connections to this character a lot, like people who would name themselves after the character with one letter changed. Cade was my favorite character in Destiny, and his actor only left. He only left the series, and it still emotionally hurt me because this is a character played by an actor that is the reason I have a relationship with my dad. Lance Reddick was a phenomenal actor in everything I've seen, from John Wick to Destiny to plenty of other things. He is probably my favorite Eric Andre skit of all time, and more than that, from an outsider's perspective, he just seemed like a genuinely good person, and that loss is even more tragic. But part of me does know and believe that he would want the character of Zavala to outlive him in that case, and sadly that's where we're at. But getting Keith David to take up the role was probably one of the best decisions they could ever make. And in reality, I hope Bungie does good by Lance, and I believe they will, as, again, for us, he was an actor. For probably people working on the game, especially the directors, he was probably a friend. And like how Wakanda Forever really, while people wanted Black Panther recast, they also had to understand that Chadwick Boseman was a friend of all the directors and cast, and they felt his loss. And I really hope Bungie and Keith David do a great job at keeping that legacy intact for someone who just seemed genuinely interested in the success of this game. And he will be missed. And hopefully this game improves, and it's not the end, because I'd hate that. But from where it's at now, game's fucked, we're all gonna die. This is all I really had for this video. I'm kind of going ad-lib on the outro. If you enjoy this, I kind of want to do a few more, mainly for the Welcome to Rex, Coon City, and the Netflix Resident Evil show, because I love those games and I have a lot to say about both of them, different kind of contexts. If you enjoyed this, then please like and subscribe. I'd like to kind of improve the production quality, but I'm on a budget, sadly. I have plans for the future that I would like to achieve. And if you enjoyed this video, oh my God. Yeah, so that before my camera just died, that was everything I really had to say. I wanted to say thank you for watching if you made it this far. Let me know what you think about this game, because even though I was pretty negative about everything here, I still love it a lot. And also, if you enjoy these videos, I kind of want to put a couple more out in the next couple of months. I'm trying to get back to regular uploads. I have a couple of videos already in the works that I'm getting close to finish with. So you'll definitely have content going forward. But also, I just really hope you enjoyed this video. And just leave a comment, like, and subscribe, do all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter, I guess, or X, whatever it's called now. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.